Welcome to Tremendous Talk. We got the industry tea and the jokes. Actors, directors, musicians, and more. You're listening to Tremendous Talk.
Hey guys, I'm Law.
And I'm Ash, and this is a Tremendous Talk podcast.
Each week, join us as we guide you through the realms of Hollywood and beyond as we speak to industry professionals in the spotlight.
So grab a boba tea and leave your shoes at the door. Welcome to Tremendous Talk.
Woo! It's good to be back, everyone. Thank you for being here. Ash, I miss you. I hope you're doing well. I know we had like a busy month, but excited to be back. This week on the show, we are so grateful to be joined by Christopher Sean. You've probably seen Christopher Sean on Days of Our Lives, or maybe you heard his voice in Star Wars Resistance, or as Nightwing in Gotham Knights, or you might have also seen him on TV shows such as You and Hawaii Five-0.
Basically, Christopher Sean is like a household name. So we are so stoked to talk to him on this podcast. We're so excited to dive in deep on his latest film, Ultraman Rising, as Ken Sato with Netflix. It is, I laughed, I cried.
Yep.
I didn't expect to. This is one of my favorite Netflix films I think I have ever seen personally.
It's so I'm right there with you. Like it's one of those things that you don't necessarily know like what the vibe is going to be because it is so family friendly. But man, do they hit that family part hard. And I think everyone can resonate with it. For those of you who haven't seen it, go check it out on Netflix. But Ultraman Rising follows Ken Sato, a superstar baseball player who returns to Japan to become the latest hero to carry the mantle of Ultraman. However, he's compelled to raise a newborn baby kaiju monster who is so cute, the offspring of his greatest enemy, as his own child.
I would give my whole life for this kaiju.
So cute. I don't know how they designed her to be so cute. I know Shannon Tyndall said that a lot of the faces that he put like images of his daughter, and it's like side by side, it's like, oh my god, your daughter's Emmy. But like, I don't know, just so much care went into making her so lovable, and I don't know, I'm obsessed with this movie.
Oh, I can't wait to get into it more. I really can't wait. This is the Ultraman we're talking about. The Ultraman is such an iconic series. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy as we get into the Ultraman of it all. Oh, I can't wait. Welcome to the Tremendous Talk podcast, Christopher Sean.
Hell yeah. Well, Christopher, thank you so much, man. We were just gushing about how much we love Ultraman Rising. So we're absolutely honored to have you on Tremendous Talk, where we love to highlight, BIPOC creators and talent and stuff. And we're all mixed raced here, which I feel like there's like a kinship between us. But, first of all, congratulations on the success of Ultraman. I imagine it must be feeling pretty good to see kind of like a global reaction to how, I mean, it's such a great film, but even just being on Twitter and seeing people sharing fan art and stuff, what's that been like for you since the release?
Man, it's incredible. It's a surreal experience to have so many people say such positive reviews and remarks, and to see so many people put out thirst trap videos of Ken Sato. It's like, it's unreal. I mean, you guys are probably used to it at Tremendous, podcasts, but for me, it's a brand new experience, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I'm just taking it all in. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where I'm singing in the rain, and I'm showered with love.
That's so lovely. I'm so grateful to speak to you today. It was just I just got to say, this is probably one of my favorite Netflix movies I've ever seen. I laughed, I cried, I did the whole gambit of every emotion I could possibly I would give my life for this little baby kaiju. I would do anything for it, right? Like, but this is like a really good movie. Like a really good movie. And I kind of caught myself the entire time like freaking out over like, wow, the animation, the acting in it, like I can hear like whole hearts are put into this movie. How did you tackled the kind of nuance that's really in this film? Like, it's not a kids movie per se, it's not like strictly for adults, but as like an adult woman who's considering having children and just has lived a life, I found myself like, "Oh my god, this is, like, speaking to me directly." It's so deep and
Mm.
layered and honest. I don't know, there's so many layers, it's an onion.
Uh, Man, well, thank you first and foremost for enjoying the movie. But I can't take full credit as much as I'd love to. Be like, yeah, I did it all. Cheers. No, Shannon Tyndall, Mark Hames. It starts with the script, right? And Shannon has been cooking this idea for 23 years.
Ugh.
So for him to be working with so much talent, like again, Mark Hames, and then jumping in with his college dorm mate, John Aoshima, and they co-directed the film, and John was the director, excuse me, co-director, Shannon director. So all the steps that it took to get to where it's at now, um, get to, excuse me, to when I jumped in and started to play the role of Ken Sato, it was already so thought through that I just had to act. But I could
Mm.
connect to the character because of, as you said, life experience. We've gone through so much at my age. Back in my day, no, at my age, I find myself, I've lived many lives and
Mm.
I've learned so many life lessons and I have fallen so many times, countless times. I have failed more than I've succeeded, and which is why I'm succeeding in life, but I have failed so much. And it shows, people who have had that experience of becoming a parent, people who've had the experience of failure, people who had the experience of dealing with obstacles, dealing with prejudice, dealing with whatever it may be in life. Like, there's so many life lessons to learn in this movie because Shannon and the team have dealt with them and they wrote about them. So again, I was lucky enough to have had many of those experiences that they've written about and to jump on and share my experience through my performance.
You know,
Wow.
it yeah, we've spoken about how big this film release was going to be. It's like what, 500 million homes across the globe, right? How did you take anything away from kind of like even just like the promotional side of things and seeing the push from Netflix to like get people to watch this from your cast is so passionate, your filmmakers are so passionate. It's just like the constant, push to get people to watch this, but what do you take away from that part of the experience, not just even the actual making of the film?
I learned that, number one, I learned that it is a team effort and it takes people who passionately believe in the project to really push it. So everybody at Netflix, the PR team, Netflix Golden, Lamarco, Olivier, again, I can go down the list of all the amazing people, the social media teams at Netflix Golden as well. Thank you, you guys. But there's so many people that have their hands in this project and they're creating different marketing ideas and different plans and different ways to push that. For me, it's just, I've learned that I'm going to push my own way, and then I see everyone else doing the same, and it inspires me to continue pushing. But you have to have a passion for it, and it shows that everybody's passionate about the success of this film, which it makes you. Like I said in the last interview, it makes you feel like you're truly loved, and it's nice to see that we all share this love and this excitement for this project.
You
Hell yeah.
can feel it and hear it and see it every second of the film. Like, just like you were saying, the co-directors of this project, they've worked on every single one of my favorite animated films and animated TV shows, and even Tamlin and all your co-stars, and it's just such an incredibly stacked cast and filmmaker crew of just so much talent and so many years of just being in the field, like you're saying, learning and just exploring and gathering all these like life lessons and stuff. I'm curious to know, in the film, did you learn anything about yourself? Like Ken and Ultraman, they're two sides of one coin, right? And I know I identify in this in a little bit of a way, but do you ever feel like you have another side to you? Like, did you learn about yourself in that way? Like another identity you might slip into, where like you have your acting self as Christopher Sean, and then another hat that you might put on or take off at any point?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's an old Japanese philosophy that we all have three faces. One that we show to the public, one that we share only with those we love and closest to us, and one we never show anyone,
Mm.
right? And so that was kind of the principle I took in playing Ultraman, is that there's the public identity, whether it's the baseball persona or the superhero persona, like, hey, how awesome was that? You saw what I did? Like, I'm making you look good. Like that whole like I'm the cool guy, I'm the superhero. And then around those he loved, he's like, please help me. Like, I'm vulnerable, please. And then by himself, he sits and watches videos of his mother. He's solemn, he's sad, right? So there's those three faces. And again, it's beautiful to see how they intertwined this whole movie. It's so balanced and it's so good. I just can't rave about it enough how much I absolutely love this film. And I'm so happy that you guys watched it. And I can't wait for everyone else who hasn't to enjoy it. But yeah, for me, from learning, I guess, what can I say? I learned about myself. Um, this story is, I've learned one that after speaking to many people as well, that it is a relatable story to so many people. I thought this is my story. That's it. Like I grew up, you can take the pieces, how my father's relationship, my mother's relationship, becoming a stepfather, learning how to raise, like, I was like, this is my story. But then so many people are like, you have no idea. It's my story. And I'm like, wait, share similarities, share story. Like this is incredible. So I'm learning that it parallels so many people and it's fun. It's so cool to be like, man, high five. Like we're walking the same path, you know?
And that's the hope for any creative or storyteller, is that you want that resonation, you know, you want it to resonate with people across the globe, and that's happening. You know, Ash wrote a question and we both like have similar thoughts here, which is great, but about balance. You know, Ultraman's task is about finding balance. And I have to say, Christopher, like everyone I've spoken to around this film has nothing but kind and wonderful things to say about you and your generosity and your vulnerability. And so I'm just curious, like, how do you find balance? Where do you draw your light from? You know what I mean?
You know, there's a lot of givers and there's a lot of takers in life.
Mm.
And I can give because of the people that are willing to take around me, you know? So my battery's recharged from the people I keep closest to me. And because they shine so bright and they fill me with so much love, I can go around and just, here you go, here you go, here you go. Yeah. Get some love for you. Oh, love for you. Ba boom. You know, like whatever. I don't mean to make that weird, but the bottom line is, you know, in my life, there are personal boundaries that I will not allow people to cross. And it's taken a long time for me to understand the value of no. And when I finally understood who I was, being mixed, you know, having this loss of culture and not feeling like I fit in America or Japan, and not, you know, feeling the prejudice of both. Like I've been called racial slurs both in America and Japan. So, you know, once I understood that, it's like, you know, whatever they're projecting, whatever their issues are, that's them. Like me, it's my choice to not feel like I fit in or to feel that I fit in. So I'm 100% American, 100% Japanese. I'm 100% Asian American, right? So once I learned who I am, and once I started to truly love myself, I know who I am and I know my intent, and that's all I need to know. I know I'm here to spread good, to remind people what love and empathy is. I know that my job is to just be there to support and uplift and motivate and inspire every person that is around my platform. And so that's what charges my battery. And I have people that support that. Again, my family, my close friends.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great podcast. Thank you.
I know, there's our soundbite. No, you know, it's I've heard you quote saying, you know, that you weren't necessarily white enough to play white roles or Asian enough to play Asian roles. And to hear you speak on the kind of that mixed nature and that identity is something that we love to talk about here. But did you always, I know that you said you spent some time in Japan as a kid, but like, did you always connect with that part of yourself, or did that come kind of later down the road? Because I know for me, I denied my Asianness for so long, and then now as an adult, I'm trying to reclaim it. So I'm just curious about what your experience was like in terms of like finding your culture.
In Japan, I'm Japanese. Like I'm still like American, right? But like I'm like my grandparents. My grandfather would be like, "Kurisu, oi, come on, breakfast, let's eat. Gohan, tabenasai." You know, like, okay, let's go eat. So I grew up, my cousins, my aunts, my grandparents, my mom's a Japanese immigrant. So I'm like, when I'm in Japan, I'm Japanese, you know? I don't care what you think. That's what I am. I don't need to know what you think. I know what I am. And but you're right though. when I'm in America and I dealt with the racial profiling, I dealt with the food bullying I was just talking about. Like we go to school and they'd be like, "Ew, what's that? Onigiri, rice balls with fish? Ew!" Like, and I'd be like, "Yeah, that's weird. Like, let me get that peanut butter and jelly, bro. Like, that looks great." And then I trade food because I was embarrassed, because I was trying to fit into a culture and I didn't know who I was. I was always trying to fit in rather than just being unique. And I was afraid to be who I was because, social standing is extremely important. We're social creatures. So I did deny my Asian American growing up in Mississippi when I got jumped. Like, I did deny my Asian American when I was a kid. And it took me a while. And I grew up around in El Centro with Latin American, my homies Juan and Shorty and all the homies, and that was I grew up and we're listening to tupa music. And then I came up to Camarillo and all my homies were like, African American or Latin as well. So I was like, I grew up with the ethnically diverse crowds. But also I came home and my father was a senior chief and my mother's Japanese. So, and my grandfather was the congressman politician of our city. So there was this diverse world that I grew up with, where I'm going to like cheap dinners and I'm like, "Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am." I'm going home like, "What's up, Playboy? Hey, what up?" It's like this totally different, again, three masks, right? And I just always changing out masks. But it's all really shaped who I am. It was difficult growing up and not knowing who I am. But as I'm getting old, man. These knees aren't the same as they once were, but they carry to me. It's important they stay strong, because I carry to me. It's my job to be the role model that I never had on television for those who need it, because a lot of people are going to see multi-ethnics on television and be like, "Yo, like, that looks like me, mom. That looks like me, dad." Like, when I saw Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee, I was like, maybe I can be cool. Martial arts, let's go, and maybe I can be attractive, because I never thought that, I never thought that. I was like, good looking means white. Good looking means black. Good looking didn't mean me. Right. So I try my best to represent the multicultural, the BIPOC, the diversity that I never had, so that people can say, "I want to be like that guy. I want to be intelligent. I want to be articulate. I want to work hard. I want to work out. I want to have humor, charisma. I want to be Ken Sato. I want to be Lawrence or Ashley. I want to be these people who inspire me." And that's what my goal is.
Wow. Hell yeah, man. It's so funny because, I love that you are Nightwing. I love that you're in Star Wars. I love that you're freaking Ultraman. You know what I mean? But a little fun fact. Did you know, you probably didn't know this, but Ash has a little fun fact about Days of Our Lives.
My parents named me after one of the actors. Like, it just popped in my head before we started recording. But yeah, like all those soaps and stuff, like and Michael Tylo, he did a bunch of soaps back in the day. He was my teacher back in acting school. Like, the soap world, man. But I'd love to know too. Christopher Sean, do you have a book? I would read your book. I would read the hell out of your book, man. Like, all this knowledge you're dropping on us. Thank you so much for just expanding your wisdom onto us today. Like, you're dropping a lot of like wisdom bombs here, and I'm so grateful for it.
I think it's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm pretty sure I just saw an announcement about a children's book coming out, huh?
Yeah. Axel the Draxolot. It's about a dragon axolotl. It's basically learning, like I said before, it's about being unique and learning to appreciate. Your parents say, "Be yourself," and your teacher's like, "You doing okay, buddy? You don't look like you're doing well." It's like, "I'm trying to fit in, but I don't know how to be myself." Yeah, it's about taking what works, discarding what doesn't, and making it your own. And again, hearing your story about how you relate so much to the movie and the characters, I'm like, man, like, it's not just me that's dealing with this. It's not just me that's going through it. So I'm learning, I'm always trying to learn. And when you put yourself around mentor people who are willing to teach, and you use your ears proportional to your mouth, like, I'm talking a lot right now. But again, like when you listen to those people who are in positions where you want to be, they're going to teach you so much. You just have to be willing to listen. And much like what you're saying, Drake Hogestyn, who plays my father in Days of Our Lives, man, he is so filled with knowledge. I would sit in his room for hours before we'd film, and we would just hang out. And he's my dad, on the show. And I was just like, I love him so much, and I love anyone who's willing to like teach me or guide me or mentor me like that. I know that I know nothing, so I know that I have a lot of wisdom, but man, I don't know so much, and I want to learn, and that's the difference. If my glass, I have a glass. We all are glasses, but it's like, is your glass full? Are you willing to intake more water, more knowledge, or is your glass empty? And are you willing to actually intake knowledge?
My heart. My heart.
Yeah,
Oh, my heart.
Some truth bombs and wisdom today. I love it.
I'd love to know, you brought up dads, right? Like dad characters. The dad, I cannot get over the father-son relationship in Ultraman. It ripped me apart in so many different ways. And there's a specific scene at the end of the film. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it involves 4 characters doing something at the same time to a bad guy. I texted Law and I was like, why am I sobbing? I just cried so hard during so many pieces of this. I'd love to know how you got to that like nuanced part. Like, geez, man, that relationship, like, did you pull anything from your past, just like dad characters and like dealing with them? Or did you see anybody from your personal family in any of these characters as well? Like, the family part was so tight and deep, and it felt like you guys had lived with each other legitimately your entire lives.
I think that's a testament to Getty Watanabe and Tamlin Tomita and Julia Harriman and Keone Young and Lee Shorten, everybody that's been on the cast, everybody that is the cast of Ultraman. Like, I bow to them because they are incredible actors that gave legendary performances. So I'm lucky to have worked with an amazing team. Also, the guidance of the entire team while we were recording. I'm working directly with them, and they're allowing me to play, but also they're giving me the guidance to know what my parameters are. As I color the scene with emotion, right? Ashley, as an actress. So for me, it's having the fluidity to be able to just kind of jump in from different ideas. Like, how are we going to start the scene? What are we going to learn throughout the scene? And how are we going to end it? And do I earn whatever my intent may be? Like, I want the viewers to know that Tremendous is an amazing podcast. So it's my job to make sure that that's my intent, to do everything I can to make sure that people hear it. So, do I win that or do I not? Right. But the real test is, and I learned this from Daniel Day Kim on Hawaii Five-0, he was teaching me, the real test is, how do you react when you get that or don't? And so those are ways to color scenes. I pull a lot. Anytime I act, I pull from my life, because I've lived a life of, I've lived a life. Let's just say that, like, my oldest sister has Down syndrome. And my other sister, she and I, we were like twin flames. We were best friends. We were identical in so many ways. She's incredible. And she went a different route than me, and with all the trauma that we've dealt with in our lives, I could have done the same. It's a lot easier to just blame everyone else and not take accountability for your actions. And when you start being responsible for your choices, life starts to become beautiful. And in the way I live, like, I've learned that once I started taking responsibility, then I said life got beautiful. But also, I was able to understand that was a problem. That was me. Boom. And that's something that I can apply to my acting. So I was able to apply a lot of what I learned in life through Ken Sato. And I grew with the character as well. He's a phenomenal character who has a beautiful story arc and character arc,
Unrelated. Sorry, I was being very emotional. If you ever did want to change career paths and become a therapist, I'll happily sign up for your waiting list.
Thanks, man.
If you needed another thing to add to your plate, there's that. Christopher, something that I skipped because I was just so excited to talk to you today was our rapid fire questions that we usually start with the podcast. But Ash, please take it away.
Yes.
I'm so
let's
sorry
go.
this is coming after all this beautiful knowledge you just dropped on us, but here it is.
I'll be journaling about it later. Okay, so this is gonna be rapid fire. We can try to go as fast as we can, but I have a notorious history of getting really slow and tell me more about that. But anyway, bone broth and wheatgrass, bro. What's your favorite go-to comfort food?
Favorite go-to comfort: steak and mashed potatoes.
Ooh, I love that. Easy peasy. The soundtrack of this film is epic. Sound composer, I tip my hat to you. What is your current song on repeat?
Current song on repeat. Steven Wilson Jr. And it's a country singer. And we just saw him, me and my lady, we just saw him. And I actually really liked it. I didn't know anything. I've been singing it every day. It's hometown.
I gotta look that up. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, what's your number one parenting tip that you've gotten from raising a kaiju?
Lead with love.
Oh, okay. That was great. Oh, wow. Okay. And then who is your hero?
My dad.
Oh,
there's been a lot of lovely things that you've shared with us. So we thank you, first of all, for your vulnerability, again, for just being open and setting the time up with us to chat. We just, I had to promote this more. Ultraman Rising is
it's so good.
And I want a sequel so bad. I keep telling people, I keep retweeting things that I'm seeing. But, Christopher, something that we do at the end of our podcast is we love passing you the mic and giving you an opportunity to just share whatever it is that you want to share. If you have something coming up, something you want to about your life that you just want to talk about, or a message to fans, or, inspiring creatives, aspiring creatives, this is your moment on our little platform. I'm going to hand you the mic. And yeah, whatever you want to say.
I just want to freestyle rap. No, I'm kidding. No.
All right.
No, just joking. No. I would say number one, thanks for all the Ken Sato love. And thank you so much for all the Ultraman Rising. There's been no better project that I've ever worked on. So honored that people are feeling the same love that we all share. Please keep watching the movie. Things I'm working on. I got the kids book that's coming out July 7th. We're publishing it on Amazon. I got a couple TV shows coming out, and I got a couple video games that I did some voices on that are coming out as well. So keep an eye out. Follow me on Instagram, Mr. Christopher Sean. There I'll be promoting Lawrence and Ashley and all of their beauty and all of their amazingness. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that worked on this movie, from Netflix, their entire leadership, and Shannon, John, and everyone in the production side. Subaraya, I just want to say thank you. Sudagoshi and Honda and Mina Mitani. So yeah, I mean the list, I can go on and on. Tim Henson, Scott Stuber, it's everybody who's been a part of this. My heart goes to all of them. So thank you for giving this grown child an opportunity.
There we go. That's a great way to end it, man. There we go. Boom. Boom. Thank you again for your time. I'm really excited to get this episode out, and just, again, man, we're so gracious with your time to set this up. I know it's been a long press journey, but I'm pushing for that sequel. I need to know what's happening to Mama. So, but thank you again.
Thank you. This is wonderful. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you both, man. Keep in touch. Hit me up. I'm around.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Therapy
We'll keep
session.
bugging you.
Whatever.
You will start charging after a while, Ash. You got to know that.
It's fine.
The Tremendous Talk podcast is produced by Lawrence Sharma, Ashley Rapuano Sanchez, Gabriela David, Joseph Feralde, and Jeremiah Abraham in collaboration with Tremendous. The Tremendous Talk podcast jingle is by Jared Sanchez and Ashley Rapuano Sanchez, produced at Amsterdam Records.